In this video, we will be going over how to set up a domain and run a custom container from Amazon SageMaker Studio. When you sign into your AWS account, you will arrive at the console homepage. From here, navigate to the Amazon SageMaker AI page. Once here, under Admin Configurations, click on Domains. If creating a new domain, click on the Create Domain button. Make sure that the Quick Setup or Setup for Single User is checked, and then click Setup. We have previously set up a domain for us to test. It is currently in the pending status, but we'll click into it to see the domain settings. As you can see, it's still pending, and it also shows us that we've used the quick setup, that this is a quick setup domain. For a new domain, we also have to attach a container or a custom image to run the container from in Studio. To do this, we will navigate to the Environments tab and then click on Attach Image. Here, we'll be brought to a new page where we can choose the image source and either attach a new image or attach an existing image. If attaching a new image, we need to go to our Elastic Container Registry and copy the URI for our image. We can type in Elastic Container Registry or ECR and navigate to the Elastic Container Registry page. If you have a container image within your ECR, it'll show up here. You may also get this URI from the README file if it's in a shared resource and not specifically in your account. We can copy this URI, and this is the URI that we'll need to enter from the ECR into this field here. As I mentioned, this may already be set up for you, and you may just be attaching an existing image from a shared resource. In this case, when you click on Existing Image, your image should show up in the Existing Image section of this page. Here, we'll click on Main Container 4, and then also the latest version or available version of this. We would then click Next and fill out the image name if we're creating a new image, or the application type if we're setting this up for our new domain. Here, we want to select Jupyter Lab image and then press Submit. This image is now ready and the environment has been set up so that we can access the custom image from Studio. So from here, take note of the domain name, which ends in 446, and then navigate on the left-hand side to Studio. When you arrive at the SageMaker Studio page, under Select Domain, make sure that your domain is selected, and then you may have to create a user profile. You can leave this as default, select your execution role, which you may have to create. If not, select from one of the existing roles, then select Next. Most of the following pages that you come to, you should be able to use the default settings, which you can then review and then press Submit. You can always come back and edit these if the profile and domain settings do not allow you to run through the module. We'll then navigate back to Studio, make sure we're on the domain that we want to use. Now we have the profile we just created, and we can open Studio. This will bring us to the SageMaker Studio page, and we can navigate to Jupyter Lab under the application section on the left-hand side. And here we will create a Jupyter Lab space from which we can run our container. You can leave this as private and then create space. This is now provisioning the space, and the space is currently stopped. And then from here, we can choose the instance type, similar to when we are creating an instance notebook. And here, just make sure it aligns with the README of the GitHub repository of interest or the module of interest that you plan on running. And then here, when we've attached this custom image, we should now be able to access it and attach it here so that it runs when we run our space. And we can run directly from the container that we just attached. Storage can be from 5 to 100. Again, read through the README of the module you will be running and make sure that the storage that you choose aligns with system requirements and module requirements, since you will be copying in data and additional files. And then if you have a configuration, lifecycle configuration, you can attach it here, just to make sure that if the machine or the domain is idle, that it automatically shuts down. Then we can run space. Once the run space goes from starting to active, we can click on the button to open Jupyter Lab. We can clone in our GitHub repository using git clone and the HTTPS URL from the repository that we'll be running in. And then you can access all of the files and run through the module just as you would in a normal Jupyter Lab interface running from a notebook instance. That is all for this video. I hope it helps in setting up the domains and running custom containers. Thank you.